Skip has said Tebow's 2011 stretch in Denver was the greatest clutch run of any quarterback ever. He came in midway through the season to win 7 games as a starter. And, he led the Broncos to a playoff win against the Steelers in overtime. And, yes, we probably will watch that again right now. Shannon, you have played, we know this, for the Broncos. You're close with the organization. So how much credit does Tebow deserve for the 2011 run? Be honest here.
Oh, I think he got too much credit. Tebow played well. I'm not going to say he played great because he didn't. There's no such thing when you say put great and Tebow together. But he played well. But I don't think we give the defense and Matt Prater enough credit. Skip, you mentioned that 6-game winning streak. During that 6-game winning streak, the defense averaged 17, giving up 17 points a game. And I want to put this in perspective. Last year, the Rams led the league in points allowed, giving up 18 and a half. We know how good the Rams defense is, led by Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. They gave up 18 and a half. The Broncos gave up 17 during the winning streak in which Tebow was in. 17 points.
How did they fall to 1-4?
Skip, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute, now I'm going to give you a chance, Chopper. So there are not very many times that a field goal kicker is going to kick a 59-yard field goal as time expires and then kick another 51-yard field goal to win the game in overtime.
Unless it's at Mile High, and that's like a 25-yard field goal.
There's not a guy that right now, as far as distance field goal, I would take Justin Tucker, number 1, the kicker from Baltimore. I would take Matt Prater, number 2.
Okay, I'll buy that.
I don't know if you'll ever see this again. A team won an NFL game in which they completed 2 passes. Tim Tebow went on the road and beat the Kansas City Chiefs and completed 2 passes. That's never going to happen again, Skip. The guy completed 46% of his passes. Now, down the stretch, this is what he did in Week 15 loss. Patriots, 11 of 22, 194, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Week 16 loss at Buffalo, 13 of 29, 185, 1 touchdowns, 3 INTs. Week 17 loss to the Chiefs. They lost to the Chiefs 7-3. He was 6 of 22 for 60 yards and a touchdown.
By then, they had already won the AFC West.
Actually, they didn't. They'd have won one of those last 3 games they'd have won. It was because the Raiders and the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Chiefs were so bad.
Okay.
That's what happened. It wasn't
But
what
they were in the driver's seat. By
Yeah,
then.
but if they win that game, the Raiders end up losing, and they won the division. Skip, look, he was a quarterback. There's no denying that. But to say he was the central key figure and why they won these games, the defense had to play out of their mind. You had to get Marion Barber running out of bounds. If he doesn't run out of bounds against Chicago, you lose that game.
That was miraculous. I would agree.
Yeah.
Tell me when it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Okay.
Tebow played well, Skip, but come on now.
Okay. I've told you several times, I'm going to reiterate for the last time, because this is going to be the last time we talk about Tim Tebow, because finally he's out of your hair, so to speak.
No, he'll come back and try something else.
You think he's going to try for
he might
the
try to win.
Lakers
He
now?
might try to win Olympics or something.
The Lakers need a backup point guard, right, or something. I don't know. Who knows?
You do good.
Okay, so here's the point. I never was much of a Tebow fan when he was at Florida. Obviously, I was born and raised at the University of Oklahoma football fan, and I always, from a distance, thought Tebow was a little bit arrogant, a little bit smug for my taste, until he put it on my Sooners in the 4th quarter of the national championship game, and I said, that guy is a force of competitive nature. And maybe a week or 2 after the game, I saw that halftime video of the speech he gave his team. If we could just see a little bit of it right here, right now, this is the essence of Tim Tebow.
Get in here right now! Get in here! Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! That's our bad in the first half. It ain't happening. We get the ball. I promise you one thing. We're going to hit somebody, and we're taking it down the field for a touchdown. I guarantee you that.
Guaranteed.
Look at me.
Let's go.
We got 30 minutes.
Let's go.
For the rest of our lives.
For the rest of our lives.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Man, who the hype man in the back? We got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. We got 30 minutes.
I like that.
Who the hype man?
It's called call and response, right? They can make a rap song out of it, right? That is why Urban Meyer said to Chris Collinsworth, and he said, I told my coaches when they were trying out Tim Tebow to be tight end, he said, he is the most competitive maniac you will ever talk to. And I bought into that, and I said, I want that guy on my team because I can win with that guy. So ahead of that draft, I said I would take him late in the first round. And if you let him run his college ride and decide the option offense that he ran and started to run with Willis McGahee in Denver, that he can win games in the NFL. I said he will never make a Pro Bowl, but he can win games. And by the way, in his final college game, remember the Sugar Bowl against, I know it was just Cincinnati,
right,
but he threw for 482 yards. So don't tell me he can't throw, because my friend Tom House, who teaches and coaches Tom Brady and Drew Brees and all the top quarterbacks, he flat out told me he had Tebow for a whole offseason, and he said by the end of the offseason, if I had lined him up with all the top quarterbacks, all of them in a line, throwing footballs at the same time, obviously Tebow's left-handed, but he said you wouldn't have been able to see any difference. He can throw until he gets in games and he gets a little crazy with it because he's such a psycho competitor. Early in games, he tries too hard. But as Eric Mangini started to see in that 2011 season, the later it got in games, the more accurate he gets because he just wills the ball where it's supposed to be. He is a force of competitive nature to the point I said, I'm going to take him if I need a quarterback.
Right.
Denver needed a quarterback. Josh McDaniels was the head coach. Josh McDaniels knows a thing or two about offense, right?
Yeah.
He took Tim Tebow with the 25th overall pick and said, I'm going to figure out how to win with Tim Tebow. Well, Josh couldn't figure out how to win with Kyle Orton because he got fired.
Josh couldn't figure out a way to win without cheating.
That's okay. Fair enough. Bingo. End of story. Next question.
Yeah.
So it left Tebow adrift without the guy who picked him. That's a bad spot to be in, right? Especially if you're Tim Tebow.
Right.
What happened in the second to last game that year after Josh got fired? You got to see the first glimpse of Tim Tebow. You got to see a home game against Matt Schaub and the Houston Texans. Remember this? Your Broncos at that point were 3-11 at home, and all of a sudden, Tim Tebow brings them all the way back by throwing for 308 yards, and he ran 6 yards for a late touchdown that won the game 24-23, and I said, that'll work.
Yeah.
And then there was another glimpse. As Kyle Orton finished his run the next year, as they fell to 1-4, it got so bad against San Diego at home that they fell down 26-10 in the fourth quarter. And finally, John Fox said, okay, I give up. I've seen enough of Kyle Orton. Tebow go in there and finish the game.
Right.
What did Tim Tebow do immediately? He ran 12 yards for a touchdown. When they got the ball back, thanks to the defense, he threw a 28-yard touchdown pass, and they cut it all the way to 2. San Diego kicked a late field goal. Defense couldn't hold San Diego, and they won by 5. But it was such a rally that I was at ESPN at the time, actually in Bristol at the mothership, and we were getting ready to do a BCS college football show on Sunday night, and I was watching the Cowboy game just sitting in the research room, and Robert Smith, you know Robert, ran to get me, and he said, you got to come look at what Tebow's doing. I said, he's at it? And he said, yeah, he's at it again. He's bringing him back.
Right.
The next week, he gets the job because I think John Elway, your man, and John Fox just said, let's get this over with. Let's give the people what they want and see what happens. They go to Miami and they fall behind 15-0 with 2:44 left in the game. And what does he do? On 3rd and 3 from the 5-yard line, he hits Demarius with a touchdown pass that cuts it to 15-7. They recover an onside kick, and here he comes. 10 plays, 57 yards, and he throws it to the tight end Fells for a touchdown from the 3-yard line and runs it in off the ride and the side where he keeps it for the 2-point conversion, and they go to overtime, and they sack Matt Moore, and he fumbles, and they get the ball back, and Prater wins the game.
Think about what you just said.
But think about the rally from 15-0 down with 2:44 left. It's the Tebow effect on the team. The team was losing. They were 1-4. They were dead in the water. And they said, this kid's a maniac.
If you don't mind me asking, you said what was the score? It was 15-0?
Yep.
What was the final score?
It was 18-15.
So the Miami Dolphins never scored again.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Okay, now we go to Oakland, and Oakland has them down 17-7 and 24-14. And Tebow didn't throw it great. He threw it for only 124 yards. He ran it for 118 yards, and they kept coming back and coming back because he converted 3rd down after 3rd down with his legs, and they end up running away with it. They rushed for 299 yards in that game and won it 38-24 going away. Now they go to Kansas City, and it's your infamous 2 completion game. What happens late in that game is actually 6:52 left in the game. What happens? Tebow drops back on 3rd and 10. If we can see this play at Kansas City. 3rd and 10 from the 44. And here it is, bombs away. That's a pretty good spiral. It hits him right on the button, right on the money for the touchdown that wins the game 17-10. That's Tebow. That's playmaking. That's just clutch. I mean, you have to make one throw to win the game. Is that not a good throw? That's a great throw. I mean, you can't do much better than that. So now they're off to the races. So now come the Jets on Thursday night. And you know what happened? A 95-yard drive in 12 plays happens late in the game, and he converts a 3rd and 1 with the 7-yard run, and then it's 3rd and 4 at the Jets 20. And can we see what happened? 3rd and 4 at the Jets 20. And here's Tebow, and he's rolling, and he's rolling. He says, it's wide open. I am going all the way to the house. And he scores, and they win the game 17-13. Defense did hold at the end of the game, but that's playmaking. That's clutch playmaking. You can't argue. Like, I fought with everybody on ESPN. I fought with our man Chris Carter. I fought with Merrill Hodge. Name somebody. I fought with them, and they kept saying, he can't throw. He can't throw. And I'd say, yeah, but he completes all the passes he has to for them to win games, right?
But Skip, you're not going to win very many games when you have 2 completions.
Okay.
You're not going to win very many games.
He won 7 of 8 and won the division. Then they go to San Diego, and they get down 10-0 at San Diego. So the defense didn't stop them there. And all of a sudden, with 4:19 left, he throws 39-yard completion to Eric Decker, and then he hits that Rosario, the other tight end, for 23 yards. And with 1:38 left, Prater kicks a field goal to tie and send it to overtime. And then he goes 6 plays, 38 yards, making 3rd down conversion after conversion. That sets up another field goal at the buzzer in overtime, 16-13. Well, this is outrageous, which leads to they go to Minnesota, and he puts up 35 points. It was albeit against Christian Ponder, but 35